Good morning. This is Derrick Hayes here live. And like I told you many times, I'm going to always try to bring you the biggest names in the game. And I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to Life School, episode 19. And I'd like each and every one of you out there right now, if you can, to follow me on all social media platforms at Entertainment. That's Facebook. That's Twitter. You can find me on LinkedIn. That's Instagram. So just show your support for everything that I'm doing and everything that I'm trying to do. Today, I guest on Life School, Life School. Like I said, it all started with a dream, and now we're on episode 19. Is the legendary Alford. Our guest, he recently retired after becoming the all-time top insurance agent company-wide for Geico with over 36,000 policies sold. See, look at that. Episode, let me show you how numbers work. Episode 19, there's a 9, right? And this brother has sold over 36,000 policies. There's a 3 plus 6, that's a 9. See, we talking sales, we talking numbers. and brother Allen is a sales expert because he done it. That's why I'm wearing this tie today, CASH. CASH stands for Create and See Harvest. And you can network with Allen Alford on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Mr. Alford, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful today. Definitely blessed to be here. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for the opportunity to be on your show. It's a real honor.
Oh, man, the pleasure is mine. Now, the question is, why did you decide to retire?
That's a great question. You know, early retirement was something that was always a goal of mine that my dad actually instilled in me when he worked a lot of work, 2 jobs to put food on the table. I said, you know what, I'm gonna have a goal when I'm much younger to just go ahead and retire, because after he retired a couple of years, he unfortunately got sick after 6 months of retirement, and it didn't unfortunately end well before he passed away. Having said that, for me, it was time. You know, I've been in the sales game now before working at Geico 9 years. So I've been in sales for just shy of 30 years. And the Lord was pulling me in another direction to get a couple of projects done, spend more time with the family. And it was a real blessing that I went ahead and made that step and took a leap of faith and retired.
Hey, that's we talking about Allen Alford. He's a sales expert. Reach out to him on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And because he's a sales expert, we're going to use the word sales to break down some things. We're giving you insight. So you're not just getting a guest, you're getting the number one salesperson in America. He went out like Jordan in '98. He retired on top. Mr. Albert, the essence of the word sales is for strategies. What are some strategies that you can share for up-and-coming people that want to go into sales?
Definitely with sales, first thing first is I want to let a lot of young people know that sales is a process. A lot of people, they see successful salespeople and they think that the game is supposed to be easy. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of reading, a lot of learning and falling down and picking up myself and going forward. One of the biggest strategies you got to have is have real tough mental toughness and stay positive at all costs. Even if you're 0 for 4, 0 for 5, your coworkers being negative, you got to block that out and say, you know what, the next one's an opportunity and I'm going to do the best I can to convert that into a sale. You got to be positive. That's number one. And number 2 is with sales, you learn from your mistakes. If one of the things that people always think is that you got to be perfect every time you go out. No, you don't want to put that pressure on yourself. Just go out there and do the best job you can and learn from what went well and what you feel as if you could have done better.
I like that. He said, even when you hit a 0, you got a 0 in.
Yeah.
And your mistakes can be turned into miracles. I hear you, man. I hear you.
Yes.
The A in the word sales is for author. Tell us why you wrote the book, Sell Your Little Heart Out.
Yeah, Sell Your Little Heart Out was something that came about from a lot of my peers, a lot of my colleagues. They always wanted to get little tips when I was having a lot of sales success. So what was my secret? What did I do? And during the time I was really busy going out my day, I would only have maybe a minute to give them an answer. They might have more questions. So I figured this would be a good avenue for me to help others is to write a book. And not only would it answer maybe the question they have, but it might give them some more insight of some things they didn't even think about. So that's the reason why I went ahead and wrote Sell Your Little Heart Out. And I felt as if I wrote the book to help other people. And that was the motivation behind the book.
Can still order that?
Say again?
Can people still order that book?
Oh, absolutely. You can go ahead and get it on Amazon.com. You can get it on hardcover, softcover, and also audiobook, as well as digital format. So it's definitely available. Sell Your Little Heart Out on best places, Amazon, to get it. And definitely it's my first book, but it won't be my first sales book.
Okay, well, tell us about your upcoming devotional book.
Yeah, the great thing about that is one of the projects I did have that God kind of lent me into retirement was to finish the devotional book called The Unusual Devotional. That's a book that's projected to come out later this year. And what makes it unique is that it has 13 interviews in it, 13 interviews including Tony Dungy, Lauren Dungy. It has Mark Merrill. It has a lot of esteemed people. It has some apostles, prophets in there. Larry Mitchell, a great man in the Lakeland community. And every month we'll have an interview of somebody pertaining to that month. That's something that's very different. I'm also going to even talk about things that are not talked about: suicide prevention, alcohol addiction, things that a lot of people don't know that do exist in this world that people have overcome to become very successful. You'll hear a lot of those great stories. I even have the great entertainer even interviewed in the book too.
Man, talk about that. The $1 million question is going to be, you mentioned Tony Dungy, a legendary football coach.
Yes.
And why would you have on one end Tony Dungy and then the other end the entertainer?
That's a great question. The reason being is because Tony Dungy is definitely a man of influence, but you are too. And that's the great thing about this book. What makes it unique is that you'll have a guy like Tony Dungy and his wife that support All Pro Dad, but you also hear from local people that are great in the community too. And that's one of the things, like yourself, you know, what you do as far as speaking in front of kids and motivating them through tying ties and your bow ties. That's a great message that a lot of people need to hear and know about that may not know about you. So everybody's important. And that's one of the things about this book is that you're going to hear from big shots, but you'll also hear from the little guys that are doing great things in the community that people don't know about. So that's the reason why this book is unique.
Hey, I appreciate it. Know that. I just want people to know they're valuable out there.
You're valuable.
The L is for leadership. How do you lead and how do you follow to make yourself a better leader?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things about leadership that I've learned is you don't want to follow people, and especially if that's not who you are. When I was younger, I ran into a lot of trouble by following people, going with the crowd, and it really wasn't myself, but I just doing it to kind of fit in. Leadership is a big part of leadership is being able to stand up and be accountable and being yourself. You know, God has given me an appointment assignment to do. It might be different than someone else, might be very different, but you have to lead by example and say, you know what, this is the direction I'm going in. This is what I'm led by the Spirit. And whether you love it or you loathe it, it's for a purpose. It's for a positive purpose. So leadership is about knowing that you're doing something to help people in a positive direction, even if it doesn't look that way at that very moment. Especially now in this social climate where people are doing things that you may not agree with, there's a reason and a purpose behind it. And leadership means that you have to be willing to accept the consequences, both good and bad.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
The E is for education. Can you give some insight on your educational background and what are some goals you still have yet to accomplish in life?
Yeah. With me, educational background is that I graduated from USF, University of South Florida, with my bachelor's degree in marketing. It took me a lot of years to get to that degree, but I worked hard to do it. What motivated me was that in between the time I started my college, my dad passed away, but I set it as a goal of myself to finish because I wanted to be one of 4 kids that graduated from college, like all of the kids that my dad has had. We all graduated from college with a bachelor's degree, or some of us have masters. With me, I love to learn. I love to go ahead and go on YouTube, learn things from other people. I love to read books. Education is very, very important. You never stop learning. Some of the goals that I have that are coming up is I want to finish that devotional book definitely within the next 2 months. I also have another sales book that's coming out. Ambitious Sales Pro is going to be the title. And also I have a kids book that's also scheduled to come out this year too. So I do have other goals that are coming up.
What is the next book again?
The Ambitious Sales Pro. That's a follow-up to Sell Your Little Heart Out.
Okay. All right. That's great. The S is for sharp. How do you stay sharp in after retirement, and also, stay sharp to, just keep on top of your game for the future?
Great thing is I always stay sharp by staying connected with people, such like yourself, great people like yourself, people who I've worked with, people I've worked with maybe in prior jobs. I stay sharp by staying connected with people, staying connected on the internet, on today's things that are going on. I have a podcast. So I like to stay sharp by staying connected with people and what's going on in society. I think a lot of people, once they retire, they just want to relax all the time. And I love to relax, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I also like to keep into loop, and I like to keep myself busy. I'm the type of person that will relax for a couple of days, but I want to kind of do a couple of projects so I don't feel like I'm just have no purpose in life. So stay sharp by having a purpose.
Is there anything else that you'd like to discuss before we close out? Like, I know you have a sports podcast. Would you like to mention that?
Oh, definitely, yes. I have a sports podcast. It's the Alan and Aaron Sports Talk Radio Show. We just have some fun, talk about sports, and we go ahead and keep you up to date on things that are coming up in sports. We're going to have some athletes on there. Hopefully I get to get somebody like yourself, Roy Jones Jr., to come on the show and have some fun times with things like that. I'm on the works of getting some people on the show. So we're going to have fun and just have, once sports starts up again, of course, get some people on the show. I want to get Antonio Tarver. If you're out there listening, Antonio Tarver, you're high on my list. I want to get you on my show.
Yeah, you also have Keith Thurman down there.
Yeah, Keith Thurman.
There's a couple other good boxers down there. And then Cunningham out of St. Louis is training down in Florida now. So a lot of great prospects. We talk with Alan Alford, sales expert. He retired on top like Jordan 98. All-time sales leader as an agent for Geico company-wide. You can network with him on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you don't know by now, we're on Life Skill, Life School. It started out as a dream, and we're on episode 19. And this is the Entertainer, and look out for me as well. And follow me on all social media platforms, and even on Cash App at Entertainer. And remember, keep working on your skills, because when people see you and see what you do, it may be the only school that they ever see. Until next time, I thank each and every one of you for your time.